Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another Mind of the World Series player. You guys seem to really like that, but we are also going to be talking about the San Diego Studios stream where they talked about the hitting engine and all that stuff. There was a lot of stuff in there that I kind of had some issues with, but I think overall it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. But first, I do want to say that I am starting a schedule. I've realized that if I don't set myself to a standard and put a schedule out that I have to meet every day, that I'm going to be lazy, I'm going to miss days and stuff like that. So I'm setting a schedule. I'm going to put it on the screen now. The schedule is kind of tentative. Like I reserve the right to change it and stuff like that. But right now, this is going to be the schedule that I'm trying to follow. But anyways, let's get into the game as I've got a game loaded up and everything. And this game was to get into the World Series for this season. Going into it, it's kind of a response to the video, the San Diego Studios stream that they did. I tried, and I think I really succeeded in showing just how overpowered late hits are in this game and how it is a problem. I think this game is a really, really good example of that. First of all, in the stream, I got a lot of feedback in my stream after people had watched it, like the day after. They had come and they were talking about, how ridiculous the guy was and everything. Guys, and y'all were roasting him pretty hard. I think he did a good job, and I don't think he deserved all the criticism that he got. I think his name was Chris. A lot of people were calling him Quick Pitch Dave or something like that. Guys, chill on that. That's not fucking cool. Like, this guy, he was very respectful. He did a very good job of explaining where they're coming from with the hitting engine and stuff like that. I disagree with a lot of it. But I think overall, as that was just a terrible swing right there. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was trying to kind of adjust my hitting to be a little late just to show how overpowered it was. But right there, I was not successful. But I think he did a good job of explaining how a lot of times their hitting engine, as it stands right now, does mimic real-life baseball. And I don't think he got the credit he deserves for that, but I do think that he glossed over some things, because he didn't talk about how easy it is to foul off balls. He didn't talk about how, he talked about how inside pitches that get, jam shot for like low exit velocity home runs that, just barely make it over the fence, how that happens in real life. And I can accept that. But he didn't really touch on how late hits or jam shots that, go off the bat at 115 miles an hour. He didn't address those. And those are incredibly unrealistic. And I do get a few of those in this game. And I was literally trying to purposefully late hit. And this guy ended up having a pretty quick bat, and he doesn't get rewarded for it that much. And I slowed my bat down tremendously to get these late hits and stuff like that, and it was extremely successful for me. So when they were talking about how in the end it's going to balance out and everything, I think that is incredibly incorrect. I think that late hits, it is, see right there, he turned on a low and inside sinker, he got pretty good wood on it, he doesn't get rewarded. I don't know how close his PCI was there, but, it looked like he struck that ball pretty well. And it didn't go anywhere. He got 92 miles per hour on the exit velocity, and it was essentially a lazy fly out. It's just that they didn't touch on the things that I thought were, I don't know who submitted the questions, but I feel like some of the questions weren't as pointed as I would like. Because there were some issues that just weren't addressed. But overall, I do think that we were wrong in saying that the hitting engine is awful right now. I don't think it's awful. I think that it's that it does do a better job than it has done, at least early this year, and honestly maybe last year, of representing real life baseball. But the thing is you do have to strike a balance between video game and real life simulation. And, I think that they haven't done a great job, especially considering the fact that they change it so much. Like early, like right here, look at this. This is a late hit that goes, that I just crush. I almost hit it out. That should not have been hit that well. It may happen in real life every now and then, but it should not happen at the rate it does in this game, and it does happen a lot, as you'll see as this video starts to go along. There's a lot of stuff that makes you think that hitting is kind of broken, and I don't think that it's a bug. They talked about in the video, they talked about how they're always trying to fix bugs and glitches and stuff like that. I don't think that the problems that most people have with the hitting in this game right now are bugs or glitches. I think that it's built in, it's inherent in the system as it currently stands. And that's an issue. I think they need to iron that out. I think they kind of overcorrected whenever they, because, early in the year, power was just insane. And then they kind of overcorrected, and then they tried to bring it back a little bit, and they're just struggling to find that happy medium to where, you're getting rewarded for turning on an inside pitch, because right now you just don't. You just do not get rewarded as often as you should be rewarded for turning on an inside fastball. You just aren't. If there's a fastball that paints the inside corner of the plate and you get your PCI squarely on it and turn on it, most of the time it's going to be a foul ball. And, even if it's over the plate and you have good timing, it's going to be a foul ball a lot of the time, especially on like sliders and stuff like that. And that's a problem. They need to, I know that they said that just late and just early. By the way, they kind of harped on just early hits a little too much. I don't think I've seen many people complain about people being just early. Mostly it's been late and just late. And they talked about how they didn't mean for that to be a negative, have a negative connotation. Well, when you spend years and years with it having that negative connotation, the past 5 years, you didn't get rewarded for late hits and just late or hitting the ball just late or having poor timing. You didn't get rewarded for that. People would get frustrated every now and then with like late hit bloop shots and stuff like that, but it did have a negative connotation because the balls did not go anywhere, and they've changed it all of a sudden, just late is almost, they were almost arguing that it was proper, that if there was a ball over the, like right down the middle or something, if you were just late on it, you were going to drive that ball to right center, and that's, in real life, that's how you would get the most power on it. And that's kind of true, kind of not true. Like, as long as you stay in the middle of the field, you're probably going to be getting about the same whether you pull it or push it. But they've spent so many years having late hits late, swings have that negative connotation that you can't just change it and offer no explanation. Don't tell anybody up until this point that late hits are now a good thing, and then expect people to be okay with it. But that's just stupid. But I do think that I was wrong whenever I complained a lot about how hitting was just awful and how it was nothing like real life. And it wasn't just me, it was everybody, really. It was everybody that was like really deep into the community. They were talking about these things, and I think we were kind of wrong. I think it does do an okay job, not a great job. Don't automatically smash that dislike button because I'm saying it's okay. It's not a great job of mimicking real life. There's still a lot of issues that need to be hammered out, and I think that I don't necessarily want a game that is 100% true to real life. But I think they do need to find to strike a balance to make it to where you know, the good players or the ones who are striking the ball well get rewarded more often than those who aren't, who are late on a lot of pitches. And you're going to see it, you know, it hadn't really started yet in this game, but you're going to see just how much I get rewarded for being, you know, kind of slowing my bat down and being late and focusing on getting the PCI there. PCI placement right now is more important than it's ever been. And that's a good thing. But, you know, it's not, it's kind of at the expense of timing. Right now, timing is almost counter important. Like, you almost want to have bad timing. And if you have bad timing with good PCI placement, you're going to get the best results. And I don't know. I honestly, to wrap that up, I just think that they need to strike a balance. And I think that they haven't done as bad of a job as we would like to think they have, but they definitely have a lot of work to do because it is not great right now. And there are definitely a few things that they need to iron out. And I planned on making this like a separate video, like a separate commentary video, but I just thought I'd filmed this, and I was trying to give visual evidence of my positions, and whenever, you know, it happens in the game, I'll kind of point it out. But, so I decided just to put it in here into the mind of the World Series player. And I guess that kind of defeats the point of the mind of a World Series player, because I did play distinctly different in this game than I typically do. Another thing was this guy was pounding the strike zone. Okay, now right there, I will say that that was perfect. That was perfect. That is the way that should have happened. He hung a slider right down the middle at the top of the plate. I got my PCI not squarely on it, but pretty close. I had good timing, and I drove it out of the park. That was good. I want to see more of that. And I think it happens again later on in this inning. I think he hangs like a curveball or something, and I punished that. But that's not really the ones where it really surprised me. I think it's like the 7th inning where it's kind of starts to get ridiculous, and I end up scoring a ton of runs, and like almost every hit was a late hit. Now right here, I just get under the ball, and you know, I just kind of floated out there. But talking about my strategy coming into this game, other than, you know, me slowing my bat down to try to make this video, you know, I guess I'll talk about my pitching strategy a little bit. This guy, I kind of figured out that he had a quick bat, but he didn't do a great job of getting his PCI to the ball, because he had like a lot of pop outs. He had, I don't know, he just wasn't driving the ball the way that, you know, a really great player would typically do, but he did have a quick bat, so I had to be careful with him. And he had a lot of, right there, that was the hanging curveball that I punished. And that was also great. You know, that's what I want to see more of. But, you know, those seem like they're kind of rare. Even though I just got 2 in 1 inning, it doesn't seem like that happens a ton. And right there, I kind of felt like I needed to hit that ball a little harder too, because I had good timing, and I got my PCI there too. But as far as my pitching strategy goes, it was mostly sinkers on the inside corner of the plate, moving them up and down. And right there, he just got a late hit right there, you know, kind of a jam shot right up the middle. You know, I understand if that happens in real baseball. You know, it does happen all the time, but it happens less often than it happens in this game. It happens a lot in this game, and they need to do something about that. They just really do. But as you can see, it was mostly just sinkers and sliders. He had a lot of right-handed hitters. Every now and then I'd come up with this high fastball. He seemed to kind of bite on that a lot. So I threw a lot of those. And against his lefties, I just kind of mixed in the changeup. He was out in front of it because I was just throwing so many fastballs and sinkers to his right-handed hitters. That's basically with a hitter like this, that's almost always my strategy, is against lefties to kind of mix up the speed, and then against righties mix up like the movement and the location, and just kind of stick with harder stuff, because it's harder to hit speed for righties. Against lefties, you can square that up pretty easily. I didn't throw many curveballs. That was one of the few curveballs I threw, I think. I maybe threw like 2 or 3 more over the course of the game. Right there, another late hit, basically. I mean, I don't know. Let's look at the feedback on this, but he was almost certainly late. Yeah, just late right there. Granted, his exit velocity was only 78 miles per hour. It was more a Derek Jeter type hit where he just kind of bloops it out into the outfield. Those are fine. As long as it's not overdone, as long as it's not happening 24/7, that I'm okay with those. It's just whenever you start to lose games to people who can't turn on a pitch at all, that's when it gets really frustrating. And I think we're only a couple innings away from my big explosion, and you'll really get to see how beneficial being late is right now, as long as you get your PCI to the ball. That's the most important thing. If you don't get your PCI to the ball, you're not going to be successful almost no matter what. I'm thinking that really might be like the most important aspect of hitting this year is just PCI placement. But with that said, that sounds like a good thing, but it does seem kind of inconsistent. It seems like if you can get it in looking at the buckshot PCI, it seems like if you can get it, in the dark area of it, not the spotted area, that you're going to have success more often than not. But it does seem kind of inconsistent. Sometimes I'll square up a pitch, like right down the middle, there's a late hit for you right there. And I think that's going to lead to some runs too. And I don't know. I was just getting rewarded a lot for those. But it seems kind of inconsistent. Like I almost feel like if I would have gotten, that's a home run. That's going to score 2 right there. That late hit cost him 2 runs. He did kind of hang that slider though. So, but you see right there, I'm like the ball is generally in the upper part of my PCI. And it seems like that should have like a higher trajectory maybe, or be a fly ball or something like that. I break my bat right there. But it seems like that, should be like a routine fly ball or something. But it's a home run or a line drive to left field. And then sometimes I'll hit it, I'll square it up where it's dead center, and it goes nowhere. Like it won't even crack like a 100 mile per hour exit velocity if I have good timing. But then if I have late timing, it'll have like 120. It's just very inconsistent. And I understand what the guy was trying to say. Chris, I think was his name. I really do. I get where he was coming from, and I think that he did a good job of explaining what they're going for. I just think that he thinks he's there right now, and the hitting engine is fine right now, and that it's real to life and all that. And that's where I disagree with him. I think they're on their way there, but they still got a lot of issues to iron out. And I think they really need to do a better job of listening to their community and seeing what we want, because we are their customers, right? And, that should be their first goal, is to produce something that makes us happy. Not something that's going to be the best simulation if that's not what we want. That's just my opinion. Maybe some people have the opinion that their goal should be to make the best, real to life simulation possible. But if it makes their gamer community, and their constituency unhappy, which is the one that's more important? I don't know. Because I think both are important, but, and this is not to say that the game is true to life. There are a lot of things that are messed up, but the one thing that is just crazy to me is how easy it is to foul pitches off. That's one thing that just has to be dealt with. But other than that, like there's some other things too, but it feels like they are going for realism in lieu of customer happiness, I guess is what you would say. And I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because the community has been stirring. It, you know, it hasn't been as bad over the past month or so, but it's still, you know, it's still something the customers aren't super pumped with this game. And I don't know. I'd be curious to be a fly on the wall of SDS Studios every day when they talk about these things, because I don't know. I just think it would be interesting to see what their take on it is. Oh, and another thing is, you know, I said earlier, don't hate on Chris, and I think he did a good job. He was respectful. He tried to empathize with where we're coming from. I think he did a great job of that. And I think the people who are roasting him right now are being incredibly unfair. Very, very, very unfair to him. And it's guys, it's my viewers, you know what I mean? Like there were people in my stream who were doing it, guys I like, guys I'm friends with, and I'm telling you right now, I think you were kind of unfair to him. You know, I don't think he was right on everything, but I don't think that he deserves the same treatment that like Ramon gets, because Ramon has done discernible things that, you know, could be interpreted as disrespectful to members of the community, including myself. And while I don't think that Ramon deserves like a witch hunt or, you know, any more hate than the next guy because of that, he gets it for sure. I think he's probably paid for whatever sins he might have over and over again, but because he really does receive a lot of hate in the community. And I don't know, it just kind of gives me a bad taste in my mouth when I think about that. Just the fact that there is so much vitriol in the community. And I've probably been the cause of some of it. Even though like, I think people understand that most of the time whenever I do that, I'm doing it for like the laughs, you know, like I really don't hate anybody. And if it's just, if I find something funny, I'm going to joke about it and I'm going to laugh about it, but I really don't hate anybody. Even Ramon, like I don't hate Ramon. I just think he's wrong and he's been kind of disrespectful to people from time to time. Not all the time, but just every now and then, you know? But yeah, so I would just say, like, don't be too hard on that Chris guy, because he was in a tough spot. He was going into a stream where thousands of people were in there, and he knew going into it that, you know, I mean, like 80% of the people in there were going to be disagreeing with what he was saying because he was defending his game. And right now, people don't like people defending this game because they think that it has too many problems to defend. So I can empathize with that. That's a tough spot to be in. But I think this was the inning, guys, where shit got real, where the late hits really started to, you know, really started to manifest, and I really started to benefit from it. Well, I mean, it has to be this inning because I you know, spoiler alert, I ended up 10-run ruling this guy in 7. So this is definitely the inning that it happened. But I don't know, the whole time it was happening, I was just like, this is perfect. This is you know, not perfect. Like I felt bad for my opponent or whatever, but it was perfect for the point I was trying to make. That that late hit, that the single biggest problem that this game has right now is that late hits are just too powerful, and that it harms gameplay balance. It's not good for gameplay balance. And you know, this inning does a really good job of capturing that. Right there was fine. I think, I don't know, maybe I was late right there. I think I was good, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I was good right there, but my PCI was kind of I mean, it was a good bit away from that. Okay, I think I bring in Curtis Granderson right here, which prompts him to bring in Andrew Miller, and then I take Curtis Granderson out, and I put in Matt Holliday, or no, Hanley Ramirez, I think. Yeah, I bring in the 93 Hanley. So, yeah, go ahead, Beanie, put in Hanley, and let's get this show on the road, because it was fun, to say the least. I don't know, maybe I'm remembering this, like, incorrectly. Like, it really felt like I was getting too many late hits and stuff. I don't think I am, though. I think the late hits are about to start. Okay, yeah, he throws a few fastballs in the same spot, I remember. Okay, now I forgot what happens right here, though. Oh, a strikeout. Oh, damn. That's not what I expected. Actually it is. I remember that most of my runs this inning came with 2 outs. It was kind of a 2-out rally. I don't exactly remember how. I don't know if Matt Holliday did anything right here, but let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah, he just loops it right there. I don't know what happened, you know? I mean, I got my PCI. I guess I was inside of the ball, but I had good timing. Man, I really felt like I had squared that ball up, but I got a 79 exit velocity, whereas if I would have been late, I would have gotten like 105. Okay, yeah, and that's a looper that scores 1. Okay, I'm starting to get nervous right here. I hyped up all the late hits and stuff. Maybe it was just like 1 or 2. I don't know. But I know the Miggy one was a really good example. And right there, that was pretty good too. Like a slider breaking in on the inside corner of the plate. Like that's not a pitch that you go oppo with and you get like a really good hit off of. It just it didn't feel right. I was just late on it. And I had 109 exit velo. Like that's too much. You know what I mean? And I still got 3 runs to go. So I think the late hits, this is where they started coming, you know, with Dawson and Miggy and yeah, oh man, that was a bad one right there. Like up and in, like I got my PCI under it. Like that was a terrible swing. And I was late and I was rewarded for that. You know, like that's crazy to me. And I think those were the 2 that like really kind of stood out at like later in the game. And then I think I kind of do well. Yeah, I turn on a home run right here. So that's the feedback. So I think I may have overhyped like the late hit aspect of all this. But it's still like I still had like 3 or 4 hits that, you know, were questionable to say the least. And then that one was fair, I think. But I also in this game, another reason why it was probably pretty good, and I didn't even realize it until I sat here, you know, doing voiceover for it. But another reason why it was pretty good is because I had several hits, several home runs, well, really all 3 of my home runs that were exactly what I want to see out of this game. That whenever you turn on that high and inside fastball, you hit it out instead of hitting it foul. And instead of, you know, on a hanging slider, you do the same thing. In fact, I don't even remember me fouling off that many balls in this game. So this game was like a really good mix of what I want to see more of and what I don't want to see as much of. Like if they just like ramp one up and tone down the other and then make it a little bit more difficult to foul pitches off, that's like exactly what I would want to see. And, in this game, and I think it would make hitting perfect. And it's just like subtle touches, you know. It's very like maybe, you know, the late hits you get like 5, like tamp it down by like 5%, maybe 10%, and then the, you know, to kind of ramp up the exit velos and all that on high and inside fastballs or low and inside fastballs and stuff like that. And I think it would make it perfect, especially if you added in, you know, making it harder to foul pitches off. Fouling pitches off, to me, is like one of the biggest problems in this game. Like, it is so hard to strike people out because they have to be so far off in their timing and their PCI placement. Like, it's very, very difficult. Like, how in the fuck did Ted Williams foul that pitch off? I don't know. But anyways, this has kind of turned into, I was kind of hoping to do like kind of a mix of Mind of a World Series player and the commentary on the SDS thing. But really, it just kind of turned into me kind of ranting on the SDS thing. And I don't know, like, I hope my points were coherent. My video, my companion video to this, it wasn't exactly as damning as I remembered it being whenever I played it last night. I filmed this last night, and then I woke up this morning to record it. So it wasn't quite as damning as I thought it was going to be. But I still think that there were some good context in there for solving some of these problems. And I don't know, maybe like the last patch kind of fixed some of these things, like, and maybe they're on the right track. Maybe turning on fastballs is going to be a little more powerful. A guy can always hope, right? I definitely want to get a bigger sample size in just this game before I make that decision. But overall, guys, I didn't have that big of a problem with the stream. I thought it for the most part was fairly well informed. And it gave pretty good examples of why they have done to hitting what they have done. And but anyways, guys, I'll let you see here. That got me to the World Series. That got me to a 900 rating. I think I'm like 16-2. I haven't played a ton of ranked seasons so far. But anyways, guys, that is gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Peace.